Welcome, everybody. It's so nice to be with you here on our live stream with Tracy today, giving us her beautiful information from Source and all the divine spirits, the way she connects. So, Tracy, why don't you say hello?
Yeah, for anyone who's never met me, my name is Tracy Juechter. I'm Peter's wife and also a channel and part of the whole Becoming Awesome community doing sessions, and recently felt inspired to start joining in the answering questions for these monthly Q&As that we do.
Great. So, those of you watching on live stream on YouTube can just put your comments in. Those of you who are in the uh, Zoom meeting. You can just raise your hand at any time. So welcome everybody that's here. Catherine, Gerard, Steve, Rita, and Sally. I have a bit of a hoarse in my throat, as you can probably tell. And I just want to briefly mention that for a second before we get into your questions. So go ahead and start thinking about your question. You can raise your hand on the Zoom meeting if you want to get in the queue. So, Spirit has set up a system on our planet such that we're never going to get past the common cold. It's just not going to happen because the common cold is like a metamorphosis. It's like the caterpillar in the goes into the cocoon and comes out as a butterfly. Uh, it's how you adjust to new energies coming in. So, don't be freaking out about it. Do what you need to do to treat your symptoms, get some rest, drink fluids, vitamin C, all that good stuff uh, there. But notice it's interesting in our culture and our society, the way the powers that be have really worked to make it that flu symptoms are scary and you should avoid that at all costs, right? I won't get into that because you guys know what's going on there. And you also know the rules of engagement for public discussions like this on YouTube. So I'm just pointing out to you that upgrades happen and they may not always look like what you think they look like. And common colds are one way that goes on. All right, Steve, why don't you unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question? And when you do, then you can start to uh, direct it to Tracy or myself.
Can you hear me, Peter or Tracy? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. For whichever either one of you for this question of, I'm just kind of wondering maybe you could maybe a certain consciousness or entity might be able to answer this. I don't know if either one of yourselves can. I know in the past, Peter, I've asked you about different things like why we're here, blah 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 blah. But what I was kind of going over the weekend in my head was um, the higher self or the soul self of what creates the fractal of us to come into this lifetime and experience and grow and everything and take back the information and everything we experienced after we leave. So supposedly some people say this is like a simulation, or that the higher self of the soul is actually dreaming this, or everybody's dreaming into this experience. So how does all of this play into play, like with the stuff, let's say, like that's going on with Daryl, and this grid work and these portals and all this and that? If it's just like a gigantic game, what kind of is the purpose of all this stuff that's going on or needs to be done to create all of this if we're just here, in this a simulation or a dream state, and then we go back and we have to come, later come as a different, personality, and we don't even remember what happened from all this that we're doing right now. I guess kind of what I'm wondering.
Sure. I'm going to start and then Tracy, you can come in afterwards. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So it's incorrect to call this a simulation. Okay.
Okay.
This is a reality. Now,
Oh.
does it mean it's the only reality? No. Okay.
Mhm.
So when other people say, oh, it's all illusion, Maya, right? It's all illusion. That is correct. That's all true. Right. But then we mentally go, oh, because it's this, then we make something out of it. No, 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 no. You put your focus here for a reason. And because your focus is in what you call this 3D reality, then that is it. Okay. So then if you start asking, well, what's the purpose of it? You're back in your mind instead of the experience of this reality. The question you might want to be asking is, why did you choose this reality? Not does it not make any difference or not? Because
Uh-huh.
clearly you chose it. You're not a victim here. All right. So if you understand it from that perspective, then you see, okay, there's a lot of focus on this commonality because there's a lot of realities and we share all different ones with different people. You're the center of your universe. Everybody is the center of their universe and they're creating, or we overlap. It's the shared reality. There's a lot of focus on what's going on here. And, you talk about Daryl Ang and the grid work he's doing and all that beautiful stuff. Uh, he is participating like you and I and everybody is participating in one of the grandest experiments in the cosmos. Can we create a reality where most of the consciousness in physical form moves into ascension in a relatively short period of time, all at once, but when you look at the standards of eons and stuff like that? You have lots of teachings, the law of one and all that other stuff talks about the harvests and this and that, and people will use that language. What we're getting ready for is the biggest harvest ever. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions of people moving into ascension in relatively the same time. Now, this has never been done in the universe. And to do it not just all at once, the game has also had another little twist in it. And that was in the past, people would ascend and they would leave this physical reality and go elsewhere. You hear that in all the metaphors and the teachings of, oh, I'm going to a higher place. I'm off to heaven now. Okay. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to bring those higher densities into a physical reality. So we have things that a lot of entities and higher densities do not have. Mostly the coolness of our emotions, the joy and the excitement of paragliding or scuba diving or something really, really fun like that. Okay. They have the idea of the bliss and the connection. It's all kumbaya. But, how much soft music and white backgrounds and peaches and cream can you live off of? Right. So they want to expand that. And so humanity is intertwined. Our consciousness and all the creative consciousnesses that are playing this game are saying, well, let's create a simulation, as you would call it. I would call it, let's create a reality. In other words, because it all exists. You're all out there in all consciousness, right? You're in the oneness field, but you're focusing on this. So let's create a reality where we have this kind of experience. So does that help answer your question?
Yes. What I was wondering, so then, like, while we're participating down here, and let's say family, relatives, guides, and everybody that are, in the spirit realm or conscious realm, do they see all this going on too? Or are they actually part of it too, or they have nothing really to do with it since they're not into this frame of what we're going on?
Okay, so first of all, the rules of existence in the earth plane are free will. Okay. So all families and relatives have whatever choices they're making because they're sovereign, just like you are.
Mhm.
All right. Do they have the ability to access all this? Absolutely. But remember, there's not just a reality. You called it simulations, okay? There's not
Right.
just a reality. There's
Mhm.
all of creation, the multiverse is available.
Mhm.
And you're choosing to put your lens of focus in this reality of ascension. They're choosing to put their lenses of focus wherever they're choosing to put it. Now, does their higher self
A leg up.
does
Hmm.
their higher self know this? Of course. Do they choose to focus it with their conscious self? That's up to them. Trace, do you want to add this?
Yes, and while I'm adding into it, I want you to check and see if you're able to post anything in the chat on the live YouTube feed, because I have not been able to do that so far. So yeah, Steve, what I wanted to add into that is, as these waves of thoughts come out, these different teachings, it's important to look at each one like, how does this serve me or not serve me? And what I hear in this, like there's a big wave of it. It's all just a simulation. And it's a very beautiful teaching in the sense that for people who are too caught up in every moment being so important and trying to control, even if it's trying to control their getting into higher states of consciousness, right? For some people, this narrative can create an easing, kind of a stepping out of being so driven and so trying to control every moment, and hopefully takes them into a more expanded state of looking at this really as like a series of more like games, possibilities. Oh, let's play with this story. Oh, now let's play with this story. And all that's true. But if it's taking you in a direction where you're feeling like, okay, so none of this has meaning, why am I even bothering?
Mhm.
Then this is not a useful teaching for you. The truth is, even if you are leading simultaneous lives and all of your past lives, all of it is important. All of it is part of your soul's journey. And it is all your creation that has taken you step by step into the place that you are now. So
Mhm.
I would say that all of it has importance, but you have to also be able to just be like, yeah, this has all happened, but I'm not going to get caught up and hung up about it. I'm going to trust, like I've had this path, I've had these experiences, and now I'm here. So let me be here. Let me be now. And I wanted to add in about the guides and angels, what you were talking about, like ancestors, are they all here? Once you're in the etheric realm, you can be everywhere simultaneously. So if some of your ancestors who have passed on are choosing to be your guides, they are with you, but they are also simultaneously having their lives, in a non-physical way and other things going on for them. And not all of them choose to do that. Some of them only choose to show up when you actually ask them. Hey, Dad, I really need to have a conversation with you, or I
Mhm.
really need your support in this,
Mhm.
right? And then maybe they come into your field in that moment that you're asking and give you support, but maybe they're not part of your spiritual team who's with you ongoingly.
And are is I've heard of, I mean, I don't know if this is true, but does our soul, or like the soul selfless, does it actually create our guides for us, or those entities actually from somewhere else?
Well, I find different things. Sometimes when I'm asking like who's on somebody's team and I'm working with them and I, find they have some Syrian guides, I might ask like, all right, why are you part of his team? And it may be because you had lifetimes on Sirius. And so they feel like drawn or a connection to you. Sometimes it has to do because of what your soul mission is, and they feel aligned to it. A certain archangel may join you because they have a particular bent for helping children, and you're someone who helps children in your lifetime. Sometimes it's just that they've been with you, when you first incarnated thousands of years ago, and
Mhm.
that they were a very popular god that everyone knew about and prayed to. And so that particular frequency, spiritual frequency, is still with you because it has been with you a long, long time.
So it's also important to know that you're moving out of your spiritual childhood into your spiritual adulthood. When you grow up in physical world, your parents raise you, and then you eventually get friends, and then you eventually choose who your friends are that you hang out with. And then if you're clever, you choose your mentors. You choose friends because they have qualities that you want to aspire to. Same things work with guides. Okay. Your higher self is always there. The entities you've worked with in the past are always there. Now you're at the place where, hey, Archangel Michael, I'd like to talk to you. And you do, because that's where the
Mhm.
realm we're stepping into.
All right, I got you. All right. Thank you, Dr. Peter. Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Steve. Anybody else have a question that's there? Trying to make this good video because I don't want any lags and pauses. So, Trace, why don't you tell us about the last project you've been working on? The one you're telling me about with the three videos.
Oh, okay. Um, so some of my next vlogs are going to be about because I'm always right, just I sit with my team and I'm like, trying to feel out into the field, what needs to happen next? What are people ready for? And I realized that even for me, it's very hard the imprinting around aging, right? We keep wanting to work with this. And so, what my guide suggested is that I'm going to be creating a series, one for physical aging, one for mental aging, and one for spiritual aging, where it's like a combination of a meditation and then um, using light language to help release the old unconscious that are beliefs that are in there about aging, and then doing a transmission at the end with a huge team that has said they wanted to come in to help re-imprint us, rewrite each of our scripts about what it is like to age. And had a great time finding all kinds of inspirational examples of people who are, still doing yoga at 109 or still actively, producing things or doctoring at 108 or whatever it was to like help us all align into this reality that we can be very active and very positive as we age.
So that series will be airing on this YouTube channel on Fridays starting in October. So stay around for that. Gerard, your hand is up, and I love having conversation with you because you've got quite a nice, beautiful team. I remember working with you in the past and got introduced to some of your guides. It was quite beautiful. So Gerard, why don't you put your unmute yourself and go ahead and join the conversation.
Yeah, right. My question would be about the so-called reincarnation trap. Um, I don't feel that can be very strong, if at all it exists. Uh, I've, of course, read stories and heard about it, but what supposedly happens is that people meet guides or Jesus or Buddha, very beautiful creatures, or a light, basically a light, and you get sucked in, and then they make you go back to Earth without you really wanting to. Now, I find that very strange because of course, they can simulate the image of Jesus or Buddha or another loving person with a smile, and that can look very beautiful. But I don't feel that they can, and they are negative entities, obviously, can produce that unconditional love that souls often feel, or basically always feel, when they transition and go, if they don't stay in the lower realms, which usually does not happen. There is this unconditional love that meets them. And I feel this cannot be reproduced by anything other than something that is loving by itself. But that's my question. I still have a little bit of a question about it. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Trace, can I field this one?
Sure, you can start, and I want to pitch in.
Good. Uh, so first of all, it's interesting how many different people call it a trap or a cycle, or you have to do it. And then there's all these religions where you must spend this many lifetimes clearing out your karma, right? 17 or something like that. I know some of the new agey but sciency people sit there and say, oh, there's aliens with machines that trap you when you die, and then they fry you and then keep you in this cycle, basically the whole victim torture thing. So I've heard the whole extreme of it. Okay. Uh, which is really just hilarious when you come down to it. The best one that I relate to was a teaching I received from the Ram at the School of Enlightenment when J.Z. Knight was channeling him. Uh, he basically said, look, you die and you do a life review because that's what happens is you're suddenly clear and you see your entire life in front of you. And then because you see your entire life and you hadn't dealt with it while you were alive, you go into a place of shame and you go, I can do better, put me back. And so it's just an automatic response of people going, oh my God, I screwed this up. Let me try to deal with it. Now, this is why, based on those RAM teachings and other stuff, Tracy and I really push hard on doing your life review when you're alive, right? we always sit there and teach that anything fully expressed turns to bliss. And if you do not express an experience, then you keep a dense emotion that attracts more experience to you. And this can go across lifetimes, right? Soul overlays, decisions, all kinds of stuff. Call it karma if you want to. So if you clear it out entirely, then you get to this place where you've passed, and then you're totally free. The way I understand it, and I thought this was beautiful because Lee Carroll spoke about it when he was channeling Cryon. He was sitting there saying that you get to the place now where you're so clear that you choose your next lifetime while you're alive. If you want to have a lifetime here, or you choose whatever you're going to go and do. And that's the state of clarity that I and Tracy are working towards bringing people to. And it kind of goes outside of that trap. And I think it might align with what you're saying.
And so what I get about that is I've also heard this before, and I've checked in with my guides about this before. And if you really look, you can find pretty much anything. But my sense about this is that someone who had a lot of airtime picked this up and has made it like part of the popular thought, but it is like almost non-existent. This possibility of someone masquerading as Christ and sending you back. Once you are liberated from your body, you are part of all that is, and you cannot be fooled, right? You can feel the truth, the reality. You're in the full connection of everything, and so it would take someone of extremely low consciousness, maybe, could could be fooled by this, but my sense is this is nothing you have to worry about. That honestly, each time we incarnate, it is a conscious choice of us as a soul, very much wanting to do something here. And we are not slaves. We are beautiful sparks of God who are choosing, yes, I'm going to come live in this reality now. I have a reason why I want to go and be there, something I am intending to do. That's what I get.
How's that sit with you, Gerard?
Those are beautiful answers. Yeah, that's basically what I also felt myself. I did have a bit of a dark night of the soul, not recently, a few years ago, when all
I
of a
did last
sudden,
night.
oh, you last night only.
Yes, yes. But anyway, go on, please.
Anyway, I had read about it, and all of a sudden, together with a few other things, I had a very negative outlook on reality, and this was part of it. And I somehow I felt I want the truth, I want the truth. So I didn't immediately want to dismiss it. But then at one point I was walking, and all of a sudden I realized, no, I chose this. This is fine. And my parents were there, who were no longer in their bodies, but they also confirmed it. They said it's beautiful. You're here by choice, and it's not a trap.
That's so empowering. Once you
Yeah, yeah.
understand that you chose this, that's the biggest thing. The why? How did I pick parents that are so brutal and la la la? Or why is this war going on? Or why is this injustice? Right? Once you get to the point where, wow, I chose this. And then if you want to ask the question is, why did I choose this? I've been friends with this family recently, and they're having all kinds of adventures with their kids, trying to get clear on their identity and all kinds of things that kids go through. And so I'm talking to the mother and I'm saying, what you really want to consider is, why did your daughter choose an existence where she was not going to like her body?
Yeah.
Right? Not that, oh, this is a natural thing. You got to go right to the choice point to get there. So that's kind of beautiful that you understand that. I want to say hi to Troy. If you got a question, raise your hand and we'll get to it in just a second. Anybody else wants to get to it and raise their hand, we'll take their question, or you can put it in the chat on YouTube. That would be so beautiful. Uh, I just want to add something. When I was at the Ram School, it was super fun. The Ram puts out this question. He goes, how do you know you're not already dead and this isn't your life review? Right? How do you know that you're not already dead? And what we think is living our life and making breakfast or having this call on Zoom and on YouTube, this live stream, how do you know that's not already taken place? And this is the review. And so the Ram encouraged us to do this exercise where you would go into a field and we do a walking trance. And in this walking trance, we would sit there and try to move our consciousness to the place of our life review while we're still alive. And then we would invoke, put me back. Don't let me die until I finish this lifetime. And that was the big thing. Put me back. Okay. And just command it before it happens. So there's lots of times I wondered how it happened, right? Where I'd be in like, yeah, I should have died, right? Things happened around me and I should be dead, but then I walked out of it alive. And it's like, I'm wondering if spirit put me back. I just don't know. But I thought that was a really, really set interesting questions that the Ram put out there. One is how do you don't know that you're not already dead and this is your life review? And two, the ability to claim, put me back because I still want to finish now. I don't want to go through another lifetime where I feel I'm carrying this crap around with me. I thought that was cool. All right. Anybody have a question?
Off of that real quick, Peter, what you guys were talking about. So deciding when we go back, like saying, I want to clear all this here and I don't want to go back, who actually decides it, the higher self or the personality self?
See, Steve, you're still separate from yourself, right?
Yeah.
What if you said you decided it? Okay. Now,
But
do you notice when I do channel sessions, I tell my clients I'm in 24/7 contact with my higher self. So
mhm,
is it me or is it my higher self? All right.
uh,
Potato, chicken, egg. What are you going to do? Right? I'll eat the omelet personally. But okay, so you're still not seeing yourself as a soul. And this is what's super important and what we try to teach in what we do is I am existence consciousness bliss. I am existence consciousness bliss. And we're producing an app that's going to have that process in it available when it releases in the spring. Hope you guys will stick around for that. And it's so important. People think it's just stupid to sit there and reprogram yourself to believe I'm existence, consciousness, bliss. But once you're in that place, you don't ask the question, you just ask. Because your consciousness choosing to focus on this experience where I'm invested in a 3D physical reality. All right. And that's who chose it. And then you can play the fractal game as much as you want. Well, was it me or God? But when you ask that question, it's still separating yourself from the divine, from source,
mm,
right?
mm,
You are a fractal of source and the divine expressing. So clearly, who chose it? Source as expressed through Steve.
yeah, yeah,
Does that help?
yeah. I got that part, Peter. Thank you.
Good. Good. This is great. This is really the deep stuff. This is not kid lessons here. I'm really so glad that these questions are coming up. Would someone else like to dive into the discussion? Otherwise, you'll have to hear me and Tracy just blab and blab and blab. All right. So I'm going to talk to you guys about understanding. And I'm going to be cutting a YouTube video on this. It's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. But the message Spirit keeps giving me over and over is you guys on planet Earth are so trying to get new things to come to you. Give me the energy, give me the upgrade, give me the blessing, open me up. And Spirit has been telling me, we already did. Can you just receive it? And so the big game moving forward is going to be what is my mental set that's keeping me, that's preventing me from being this incredible multidimensional being? And I'm not sure what that's going to look like. It's going to definitely influence our teachings and everything that we give moving forward on having to do the understanding of the mental. We really work on the unconscious beliefs, but even that's the conscious beliefs. Like for instance, money's been flowing really well for me and Trace for the past couple of months. And yet I still sit there and go, oh, what's in the bank? Oh, I need to pay this bill. Oh, I got to have this coming up. And then I go into fear and worry, which has been a pattern in my whole life, right? Even though the reality is that money is flowing pretty nicely. All right. And Spirit's like, you see what we're talking about? You got this abundance coming in, but you're throttling it down. You're closing the gates because you got this conscious stuff. You're now at the point where you're the creator of your reality. You're a conscious creator. So if you really want to create what you want, you gotta start letting go of how you're shutting yourself down. And most of the game, this is for those who've done their clearing work. If you're out there and you haven't done your clearing work, clear, 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 clear. Tracy and I offer sessions by donations 3 days a week. You can check the links below this live stream on YouTube here, or go to our website, becomingawesome.one. Okay, we got a free 14-day program. It's not really 14 days, it's 14 lessons, but it's super transformative. Okay, if you work it, you'll clear. All right, and then you're going to be ready. And then it's just playing the mental game. Oh, yeah, abundance is flowing so nicely. That's the next level of mastery that's coming. And I'm super excited about it. Trace, do you want to speak to this topic since I just dropped the cold bomb on you?
Yeah, I do actually. So, we've shared about this a lot that, when it was purely 3D, it was about efforting, right? Let's manifest, meaning, be the very masculine, make it happen, all that kind of stuff. But as we're in this 4D transition, going into 5D, it really is about the allowing. And I just want to share an experience that I had where I got to go learn Spanish from a man who was a double spy, a Frenchman, double spy during World War II. And he knew 26 languages. And I mean, he was the one who taught Grace Kelly when she became Princess Grace, and many famous actors if they had to learn to speak a language for a role. And I didn't learn from him in person. I went to his language center and I worked with these tapes, right? But the center was all just pillows and cozy chairs and everything. And the very first thing he said is, it is not your job to learn Spanish. It is my job to teach you Spanish. It is your job to relax and listen. And it was amazing. I only took 8 days out of a possible 10-day long course, and I walked out of that knowing more Spanish than I had learned in 7 years of studying French in school, including an intensive college thing, right? And I really feel like that permissioning that he gave me, like, and even the visual of, I want you to just feel like you're just opening your heart and allowing the language to come into you rather than trying to go get it, right? And I feel this is a very similar thing that's happening right now. The more I notice that I just learn to just go drop into my heart and trust my divine. I'm wanting an answer on this, or I'm wanting this new skill. I'm just going to ask and then be very relaxed and trust that it's coming in. The more I do that, the more powerful it is, the more quickly whatever it is I'm asking for is coming. And so I think what Peter said is accurately picking up on the field of a very important message to come out in right now is, see if you can find deeper levels of trust, deeper levels of knowing, really, this is all in me already. It's a process of awakening and remembering all that my soul already knows, all that I have already experienced. And then hopefully that lets you just relax a little bit about the time frame and trust yourself that it's coming and there's no way you can screw it up or do it wrong. It is coming. You have it already and it is unfolding.
Nice, nice. Hey, Emma, I want to welcome you. Uh, All right, so I'm getting tired of asking for questions. This is your last chance. If you're viewing or in the meeting, you can type it in the chat or you can raise your hand if you're in the Zoom with us. And beautiful, Rita, thank you
Hey,
so
Rita.
much. Go for it.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
Um, Tracy was talking about as we're transferring from the 3D to 4D and maybe 5D. Well, not maybe, but we are going to that realm, 5D reality. I was just wondering, how do we know, like, as an individual, we are transferring to the 4D or 5D reality?
Are you struggling right now? Are you finding yourself tired or sometimes achy? Are you finding you have this yearning, this knowing there's something more? There's something more. If that describes you, you are absolutely there.
Yeah, I've been wanting to know more in the past 2 years already. And I'm not turning my webcam on today because I'm actually feeling physically very tired.
Join the show. Yeah, Rita, see, you're in that beautiful place. And this is the uh, thing that is very unusual for people who are moving into greater states of awareness. See, we learned as kids that you ask a question, you read it, and you get a definitive answer. Then we were taught to be limited just to our senses. So it was phenomenological. You'd feel it, you'd know it. Okay. But now we're not playing that game anymore. We're playing a game of greater awareness. So, how do I know that I'm moving into these higher states? And the thing is, we move the goalposts. As soon as you ask, it's already happened. What? Yes, as soon as you ask, it's already happened. And then it goes back to the allowing, as we were discussing. What then can I bring into my experience and claim and own? And it starts with very subtle things. And if you get used to those subtle things, you get more and more. I could have been a channel decades before I became a channel. Why? Because I didn't pay attention to all the input I was receiving, the nudges, the intuitions, the energetic feeling. I knew I was an empath. I knew I could feel sensate energy, but I didn't do anything with it because I didn't know I could do something with it. So you're at the place where things are opening up, you're having experiences. Clearly, it's affecting your body, you're tired and stuff like that. So now you get to the next place where it's okay, now how do I use what I'm getting? And that's where discussions like this, learning and teaching is so important. There's no one right path to it. There's many beautiful teachers out there, but I have a big ego, so I'm going to say I'm one of them. Tracy's one of them. Okay. So you just find what you're drawn to and you suck as much juice out of that nectar, out of that fruit as you can, and then you move to your next teacher. Along the way, for me, the biggest key is, can I start to confirm it and own it? Can I start to say, this is a reality? All right. So it was very weird at first to sit there and just put my YouTube up and say, yeah, I'm a channel. Listen to me. I had to like talk to dozens of people. I went on a cruise ship uh, down the Nile on a Cryon Lee Carroll cruise, and I was with 100 people who were all there to see the famous channeler. And I just let word out that I could channel, and they'd all start coming to me. And so I just practiced with them. I'd just say I'm playing a game, and I'd ask a one question customer satisfaction survey. Was this useful? Not was it true? Did I hit anything right? And when it was all said and done, Spirit says to me, okay, how much more proof do you need? So, lovely Rita, you are right at that place right now where you get to understand maybe this tiredness, maybe this other thing is a sign that I'm ascending. Maybe the fact that I'm asking this question, how do I know, is a sign that something's going on and I can only express it in how do I know rather than go, oh, yeah, I'm feeling it. So that's how it is. It's the welcoming and the subtle. And then you have the proof. If you play the scientific game of I must have proof, you're never, ever going to get there. Is that helping any, Rita?
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
And you're here. That's another proof.
Right, right. Who spends time on their Sunday doing this, right? Beautiful. Gerard, please.
Yes, small question. I've been wondering what's the difference between dimensions and densities, if at all there is a difference.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference, and it's hard because I feel like of the people out there talking in the world, many of them say we're moving into 5D, and they say it like we're moving into fifth dimension. And those of us who grew up with the Age of Aquarius songs, it was all about dimensions and stuff. And, I think it's just in some ways just how we use language. Now, Peter and I prefer to use the term density because, in terms of consciousness, which is what we're always talking about and working with, like the 3D is a lower density of consciousness. 4D is the stretching of the density of the consciousness, kind of going back and forth into a more, really lighter density in 5D, and kind of like waffling back and forth to that as it practices, right? Being in that new density. Dimension, we like to think of as more like 3D would be a cube, right? 2D would be something flat. And if you push the math really all the way, you can say after a point they merge, density and dimension merge. So I feel like it's just a question of clarity of language and how you use it. As long as you're talking about the same thing, some people feel more comfortable using the word dimension. And
Yeah.
Peter and I just feel it's more clarity to use density.
For me, the big difference is energetic frequency. Frequency, frequency, frequency. So if you look at a sine wave and you just notice how the distance between the peaks, okay? In the lower densities, there's a shorter distance, which means there's more physicality to it. In the higher densities, there's longer distance, so it's more airy-fairy, it's more light. And then based on that, your consciousness then chooses to focus. And when it's in the more spread out of the sine wave, okay, then your consciousness can go all kinds of places. I can tap into the oneness field. I can go anywhere in space and time, remote view, talk to source, blah, blah, blah. All right. But when you're compacted in that frequency, then it has the physical hardness to it, which then we describe as our densities, or excuse me, as our dimensions, right? The physicality of it. So the difference for me is frequency versus physicality. Does that help, Gerard?
That's a very clear answer, also from Tracy. Excellent.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks. Steve, I see you got your hand up. We're going to ask Catherine to go next because you've had a little bit of time on the platform. Then we'll get to you, okay? So, Catherine, please unmute yourself and go for it.
Hi, sorry, I wanted to ask this before, but I couldn't figure out how to raise my hand while I was driving. I had to find a parking lot. My question is surrounding memory. So as we move up and as we remain more in that now state, does your memory stay or go? Because I have these periods in time where things just go like you're in the void, completely blank, and spirit goes quiet, and I don't quite understand the mechanism if I've commanded something.
Yeah. So I'm going to rephrase the question and hopefully I'm going to do it correctly because you're breaking up on your transmission, Catherine. And the question is about memory.
Sorry, I was thinking.
Yeah, the question is about memory. And the question is, as you start to grow and ascend, does your memory stay or go with you? All right. And the way I understand it is depending upon where your focus is where your memory is. Now, this has a lot of things come into play. So, first of all, anything fully expressed turns to bliss. Anything not fully expressed turns into a density, which then has an emotional charge laid over it. So these are the pains of your past, all that shadow work and stuff like that. Okay. Most people can't remember that stuff because they're unconscious. Their mind intervenes to put a layer of protection to keep you safe from it because it doesn't want you to hurt, right? It's actually trying to help you. But basically, it means you lose your memory. All right. And this is why many people have traumatic childhoods, can't remember below age 8 or 6. I couldn't remember below any of that. I had 2 memories before age 8 until I started my clearing work. Now I can remember to my conception, literally, and I can go back into past lives. Okay, so that's all available. Now, the question is, as I move my focus by releasing my densities and charges and therefore become lighter further along on that sine wave, okay, and so I can put my consciousness in other places, do my memories leave me? And the answer is kind of. They leave you in the sense that you're no longer holding the same frequency register you had with those memories. So therefore, it's less important to you. You'll get spacier, you'll seem more airy-fairy, right? And that's just because you've expanded your focus of consciousness. You're no longer in what is being held specifically in local mind and in the network set up in your brain. So therefore, you don't access it as much. Is it gone? No, absolutely not. You can go into that field and turn in any direction you want and find it. But the normal processes you grew up with, as far as thinking, I remember this, I remember that, you're going to go, huh? What? Because you're now moving to a larger focus, so it just doesn't occupy as much space.
Well, I'm glad you ended it with that last piece because I wasn't even referring to childhood, which I don't remember any of my childhood, but when I need to remember it, it does come back in. It's literally day by day. I don't remember something from yesterday. It's almost like yesterday didn't exist. So
Well, that's living in the moment, huh?
it's very uncomfortable. Is that how it's supposed to be?
I'm not sure if it's how it's supposed to be, but I've made friends with the fact that I don't remember like I used to. And I also make friends with the fact that I have automatic knowing because I'm expanded. I always know what I need to know when I need to know it. All right. And that helps
Well,
me because stuff I don't even remember, I know.
and that would be great if the automatic knowing came back after I had that shadow convergence that I was speaking to you about earlier. It's almost like everything kind of went silent and contracted so that I could work through it. And now I'm rising up above it, but the knowings are just now coming back online slowly.
Okay, well that's a good thing. I'm going to give you a little bit of personal stuff if you don't mind, because I'm in your field and I've been talking to
Sure.
you. Okay, you got to look at the unconscious beliefs you're holding. What you went through and even how you described what you went through was in terms of difficulty and it was hard and because you looked at a lot of painful stuff, you did your shadow work, you cleared it, but unconsciously you're still holding the belief that that's hard, yucky stuff. And that's what's keeping it at bay. So it's not available to your memory. It's a matter of now bringing your unconscious and your beliefs, how you speak about and how you look at it. I was working with a guy the other day. He was so hilarious. He goes, "Man, Peter, I didn't understand what you're talking about this clearing, and it was just like, I didn't want to do it. It was difficult. It was hard." And he goes, "Now it's like the best video game ever." It's like I look at something and I go, "Oh, I'm going to clear a level," and I play it until I can get through and get the prize and move to the next level. And so you're at that place where you're still looking at this as, "Wow, that was hard and a challenge." This guy's at the place where, "Wow, cool, this is a video game I want to play," and that's kind of affecting what you have access to, i.e., the memory.
And I want to add
Got
to
it.
kind of tapped into your field. I know at some level beneath your question, there's a little fear. Did something happen to my brain in that? And your brain is fine. And this is a transition period for you. And so there is a energetic that's being placed around you to keep you in the moment, in the now.
People.
And when you are complete in this transition, then you will go back to having more the memory like you had it before. This is just an assistance tool for you now to keep you in the present.
Okay. And that's kind of what I thought. More being, less doing. And I just kind of wanted to hear it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's nice. It's nice to hear it from another person. Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah.
Hey, Hannah, welcome. I see you got a question, but first, I already promised Steve that he was going to get a question in, and then we'll get back to you, okay? So, Steve, you're up.
Just real quick, Peter, I just thought it was lovely and beautiful how you and Tracy both became into this, life, I guess you'd say what your life path is now together. And I just wondered, kind of like from what you guys used to do before when you were regular people, like how how long ago back was this for both of you, and what was it that actually made the turning point for both of you to become this way?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Do you want to start, honey, or do you want me
Oh,
to?
God, no, Trace, this is yours.
Um, I think probably the biggest final energetic push for us was this trip to Egypt. I mean, I've gone to a lot of, Machu Picchu and, a lot of different sacred sites. And this was a long 4 weeks, different temples, different pyramids, different whatever every day. And we had reached a point in our life where we knew to consciously ask before we entered each temple, like, show me to the place within the temple and so that I can receive the downloads that are aligned to me, right? And so 4 weeks of taking in these very powerful downloads, literally Peter was already starting to channel on that trip. I think I had been channeling even in a bodywork practice that I had for 33 years, where about
Oh,
2 years into it, I started just going, I'm just always curious about things. Oh, I wonder what would happen if I asked people's sacred higher selves or their angels or guides or whatever to join into the session, right? And it was like, boom, as soon as I asked, I started to get guidance. Now, I don't think I even knew the word channel at that time. I just thought of it as intuition. Great, I asked for something and now I'm getting these intuitive hits, even though sometimes it was like, tell this person this. Right? Very specific stuff, or move their body this way. But nevertheless, I didn't think of it as that at that time. But I feel like for both Peter and I, you know, building up to the trip to Egypt, I mean, each went through month-long spiritual boot camps in India. We have been, pursuing spiritual stuff for a long time, sometimes on different paths, sometimes on the same. But it seems to be that trip that really coalesced us into this understanding of like, wow, okay, we're ready. We can really have skills and abilities now, and it's time. And spirit telling us it's time. Like, put yourselves out there. This is it. You need to be
Yeah.
out in the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna love to discuss this with you over dinner later, Tracy. But uh, Trace and I have not spent many lifetimes together. We've kind of known each other, we've passed, but we have not spent many lifetimes together. So we're not really even kind of like in the same soul group family. Okay.
mm,
Which is really interesting. So we both chose lives where at a certain point she would get through all her earth stuff and I would get through all of my earth stuff, and then we would find each other for this potential. Okay. So that was always in the cards. Now, I had to go through all my crap. And boy, Tracy will tell you there was a lot of crap. I gave it to her because I didn't know any better. So I just do's blame. Right. And so we had, a rocky relationship to get together and start. But for some reason, we always just kept coming back. Right. And one of the things that I believe, at least Tracy's told me this, was the reason we're together is one, I do work on my shit. I may be terrible and a horrible person, but it's not too long after I realize what I'm doing, and I'll do my best to try to clear that in me. And two, even before that started, when we started dating, she said, look, a lot of people talk about manifesting. You kind of demonstrate that. You keep doing these little things that show me you got some skills. And so she was like, ooh, I want some of that. So that's kind of what kept us together. Now, early in our relationship, my role was to take her places, right? It's like, all right, we're going to go to India. She goes, I'm not going to India. I don't want to go there. It's hot. It's nasty. And you do all this shit. I'm like, okay, that's all right. I'm going. So I'd go by myself and stuff. And then the next time I'd say, I'm going to India again. And she'd show up and say, I bought some shoes. And I go, what are those? Those are India shoes. Those are sandals that'll be comfortable in the heat. Right. So my job was to take her places. Right.
Mm.
And so she would go to these places and she would then have whatever happened that she would have. Now her job was to me to sit there and prompt me to get what was available out of it. Okay. And so that was quite beautiful because I would just go off the rails with that stuff, right? And so then eventually we had with the breakthrough that Tracy's talking about, and now we're here. And we both kind of knew this from a soul level, even though we hadn't chosen to be together as partners in many other lifetimes.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, you got this energy and you're a seeker. I've got this energy. I'm a seeker. Let's go create something incredible.
Mm. Nice. Yeah. Very nice.
Cool. Thank you. All right, Hannah, please go
Yeah,
ahead and join the
Thank you for,
conversation.
thank you for asking that question because I had the honor of being on bus 3 in the back with Tracy and Peter.
Yeah, bus 3 was where it was happening. It was the least crowded bus, and it was one where the tour guide, this was really funny. It was one where the tour guide let us do our thing. It's like, I'm going to show you the most important things you need to know, and then I'll give you the time to run around because we were only interested in the energy. We could give a damn about what the history said happened there. We needed to go to the energetic places. So bus
Right.
3 is where it was happening.
And I just didn't even have any idea as to what that trip would do to me to bring me here and to be where I'm at and to why I have just loved following Tracy and Peter on Becoming Awesome. But, and we've all been kind of following through my journey of 10 months ago being hit by the car as a pedestrian, or being hit by a car as a pedestrian. And I'm walking with my walking sticks. And I've been working on my journey of my life. And I'm turning 76 in October. And it's just like, just I've taken myself back to my conception, and I just went to my church of spiritualism this morning, and my father came to me.
Nice, nice.
And he's just let me know that I'm right where I'm meant to be. But in this journey that I've been on, something that kind of like Catherine asked, I don't know where the past 25 years of my life have gone. So much occurred in my from 2000 when my mother died, and 3 months later I met my husband and got married 5 years later in 2006, and then he died 5 years later. And then I've just been on this seesaw of life and then all of a sudden I'm 75, and now I'm looking at my nieces and nephews and their children, their firstborns are now in college. And it's like I'm wondering, where did the 25 years go? And I don't know whether, but and I say this because I was on a beautiful call yesterday, and it's like this is what a 16-year-old goes and a 30-year-old goes through, and everybody experiences all of this in their lifetimes, but to be 75 and going back and putting it all together, it's like it's mind-boggling to be able to go, oh my God, I'm right where I'm meant to be. And just give me the grace and the power to move forward with passion and with purpose and passion to be whatever I desire to be, and knowing that I'm like any other person, no matter what age they are, because we're all beginning new. Am I making any sense?
So what you're saying, Hannah, to me is beautiful. I mean, look at it. You've got that beautiful white head of hair, and I've got some of that coming out, right? Those of us who came in at this time, all right, so that we would be of this age, our choices as souls was that we were going to open up, pry the lid open, and then hold the space for the generation that's following us. Okay. So it's, yeah, I used to think, oh, I missed it if I would have only known this when I was young, right? I used to beat myself up with that all the time, right? But no, I've got such incredible abilities that I would not have had I got this when I was young because of the experience. And this is where we're choosing. And now it's like there's no time and space anymore. So you can play with it. If you want to rewrite your life story, you can, right? If you want to go relive it, you can. If you want to come in at any time or leave this at any time, you can. So this is all beautiful. And you're starting to understand that it's more than just a sequence of events that have passed you by. And that in itself is wisdom. And that in itself is so beautiful to share with everyone. So thank you. Trace, you want to add to this?
Um, no, I think Peter said it all well. Thank you, Hannah. And is there any other question you had about it, or were you just making the observation?
It's just giving giving myself the permission to let go now, to totally surrender into that. I don't have to do the work I don't have to do, I can just be. Is that
You
what?
you've done the work. It's like it's everybody is like sit there and think, I just need to surrender, and it's still a mental construct. The surrender, you've done the work, so it's a matter of just jumping off the edge.
Just
And
jumping off the edge. I can't say anything wrong. It's just,
right, right, yeah. And you're doing it and you're seeing it unfold in your life in a short period of time. You said it took 25 years of this and that event and this relationship ending and starting, right? And now it's compressed. Oh, 10 months. Whew. All right. And then you chose it with a dramatic thing, a car hitting you and stuff like that. Uh,
I needed that. That was turned out to be that turned out to be horrible, to be terrific. I mean, in a way, because it
Oh,
gave
I know. I used to sit there
me.
when I joined AA decades ago. I said, I was so out of it, God needed a two by four to get my attention. Now I'm far enough along to know that it's not a two by four over my head because I'm the one holding it.
Yeah.
So, Hannah, I think what you're saying is so beautiful.
And if you're truly in that field of just being, what a beautiful gift you are to anyone who connects to you. Because this, came up earlier before you got on, but like this time, the allowance, the just being able to simply be and be in trust and just be in the present moment is the perfect state for really aligning with your divine, with all the new energies coming in and not efforting at it, just
Yeah,
allowing.
just allowing.
Yeah. And
Yes,
that's,
Beautiful.
you're
yes.
in that place. And so you are being a teacher to others just by being in that place.
And
Yeah.
it all started in Egypt.
Ah.
All on different levels, but and so I just love every teaching that you give on the various YouTubes that you put out there. So thank you very much. And it's wonderful to be a part of this.
Thank you, Hannah. Stay blessed and keep shining your light. Okay, gang, we are going to move into a blessing. And the way it will work is we're going to come into a oneness field. And from that oneness field, we are then going to have Tracy and I do a transmission. So it's not just us, it's everybody in the oneness field is going to make it stronger, which means you, your soul, your higher self, all the beautiful entities that are here to support us will be sending to you who are here watching this on the live stream or the recording because time and space doesn't matter to spirit. Okay. And the transmission will be sent through our eyes. All you're going to do is we're going to play two songs. Song number one, you're just going to look in our eyes. That's it. If we do it correctly, we will get out of the way and spirit will come through however it comes through. Laughing, crying, sadness, happiness, joy, solid face, big googly eyes. Who knows? All right. Because it's spirit. We're just getting out of the way. And it's going to be specific to whoever's going to view this because spirit knows who's watching this in the future or whatever time is present for you that you're watching it, right? And so it's going to be very cool as far as the energy that comes through. It's going to be specific for this audience. So, song number one, you just look in our eyes. Song number two, you close your eyes and you just continue the connection to spirit and let it do its work. So, that's what you've got happening. And so, first, we're going to get into a oneness field. So I'm going to start playing some music, and then I'm going to direct you to breathe from the central sun to your heart your heart to everybody on the call, everybody watching the live stream, no matter what time or space it is, and all of spirit that is with us. So you breathe out from your heart to the totality, and then you breathe back into your heart. From your heart to all that is to your heart, heart, all it is, and you include each other, and that creates the oneness field. All righty. So let us begin. Please welcome in your sacred higher self. Beautiful. I can feel the energy shift already. Now your team, your guides, your angels. If you don't know their names yet, that's okay. Hey team, come on. I know you're here. Oh. Now source itself, whatever you call the all that is, the divine, the God, the goddess, whatever name you use is fine. God doesn't care what you call it. God cares that you call it. Now, Mother Earth, Gaia, thank you for being with us. Now, all the dimensional beings within Earth, the Telosians, all the 4D creatures that we always think are myths, like the Yetis and all you beautiful entities. Come on, be with us. Now your ancestors, both your physical lineage, your DNA, and all your past lives. It's like Cryan always said, you are your ancestors. Welcome. Now let's expand beyond the earth to our star brothers and sisters. And then beyond the planets even to the dimensional realms like the Celestines, the Dragon Collective. And beyond that even the angelic realms. Now please call in your personal guides and anybody I've left out, any entity, deity, divine being, saint or sage that you relate to, bring them in. And if you care to now, please repeat after me. I am my I am presence.
I am my I am presence.
And I am one with the I am presence of all humanity.
And I am one with the I am presence of all humanity.
And now during this next song, you're going to breathe directly from your heart to everybody in this field, everybody watching this video throughout time and space, from your heart to theirs and their heart to yours, including all the beautiful dimensional beings with us. Okay. Please start that process now. Now, if you care to, please join me in this prayer. Thank you, sweet divine, that I am fully awakened. Thank you for the gift of ascension. Thank you for expanding my consciousness so that I have all the abilities I desire. Thank you for harmony and bliss in my life. Thank you for the manifestation of the miracles I seek. And thank you for all of this coming to me with ease and grace. Now, please go ahead and add whatever you want. This is your connection to the divine that's coming. So make your prayer, add what you want to this prayer. And for this next song, just look into Tracy and my eyes. And we're going to do our best to get out of the way and let Source come through. Now close your eyes and receive directly from Source during this next song.
जीवस्य विमुक्तिः ये तस्मात् इन्द्रियाणां विमुक्तिः ये तस्मात् अहङ्कार विमुक्तिः ये तस्मात् मनसो विमुक्तिः ये तस्मात् गातस्य बन्धः विमुक्तिः ये तस्मात् संस्कृतेर्बन्धात् विमुक्तिः ये तस्मात् समाजस्य बन्धात् विमुक्तिः ये तस्मात् कर्म Atmano Bandhat Vimuktihi. Iti Satyam Satyameva Satyam. Iti Satyam Satyameva Satyam. Iti Satyam Satyameva Satyam.
Now, please complete this experience with gratitude. That's it. That's the energy that allows. Stay in this state as long as you like before you go on to whatever else you're going to do. If you did make it to the end of the video, we'd appreciate a like and subscribe on the channel. Share this with your friends. And remember, Tracy and I are always available for sessions by donation 3 days a week. Check the links below. Many, many